In an accident case in New York, what's the difference between a long-term injury and disability and a short-term injury or disability? You want to learn the answer? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law here in the state of New York. There is a huge difference between someone having a significant long-term injury and disability compared to someone who has a short-term injury or disability. Does that mean that the person who caused them harm is off the hook if they've got a short-term injury or disability? The answer is no. However, it changed the dynamics of the case tremendously. And in terms of damages, the amount of compensation that you might actually be able to obtain as a result of the person who caused you harm. Now, you know that in New York, we have to show that we are more likely right than wrong, that what happened is actually true. If we are able to do that, then a jury is legally obligated to give you compensation for all the harms and losses that you actually suffered. So now, let's say you fractured your femur, the longest bone in your body. And as a result of that fracture, you needed surgery, you needed hardware, steel plates, pins, steel rods put inside your leg. And now you need 3 weeks of rehabilitation in the hospital in order to get up and walking again. And now you can't go back to work for a period of months. Why? Because you still have difficulty walking. And the damages that you suffered in that type of injury is significantly and dramatically different compared to an injury where, let's say, you broke your finger and you simply need to be splinted together. Does that mean you don't have a valid case? No, that's not what it means. It means that the damages are markedly different. Now, who actually decides the damages? Well, if your case can't be negotiated or settled throughout the litigation process, then ultimately a jury of 6 people in New York are going to be deciding what the value of your injuries are worth, what the pain and the suffering that you endured from the time of the incident up until the time of trial are worth for those period of years. And then they'll also have to determine what about the future. Now you're going to have to bring in doctors and experts to come in and talk about whether or not you're going to have problems into the future. And if you are, the jury's then going to evaluate it and determine whether or not you are going to be entitled to receive compensation for that period of time as well. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you to give you an insight and an understanding into the differences between long-term and short-term disability and injury in an accident case, in a medical malpractice case, or even, God forbid, in a wrongful death case. You know, I realize you're watching this because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter happened here in New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. You know, I answer questions just like yours every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.